Hello everyone, welcome to our Expedition to China board game. Today I'm going to demonstrate to you how this game is played and what do we have in this game. First, let's look at what the game contains. Here, as you can see, we have a very big game board. The game board can be zoomed in or zoomed out. The game board is created on a map of China. I didn't print out this game board. Instead, I use my tablet computer to show this game board. All right. And now here we have some cards and game actor pieces. On the left side, these are item cards. On the right side, these are event cards, including challenge and ordinary events. On the upside, we have some paper money. And then we have 8 game actor pieces at the center of this place. We have 8 pieces. Among them, there are 4 types of careers, which are scientist, artist, millionaire, and a tourist. And all of them are from 8 different countries. On the left side, we have a ability board. This ability board has 3 dimensions. Let's look at here. Let's take a look at the ability board. This is a ability board. Ability board is going to tell the players what kind of abilities he or she has in this game. So as you can see, a ability board has 3 dimensions, which are health point, knowledge point, and mobility point. Each dimension has numbers from 1 to 20, as you can see on this board. And in this game, when players are playing the game, there will be these 3 pointer attached on the ability board. These pointers pointing the number of the ability that the player has in this game. Now let's take a look at the game board, which is the map. The map is right over here. The red lines on the map is exactly the borderline of China. And on this map, there are 4 major different areas. As you can see, in the right side of this map, which is right over here, let's zoom in a little bit. This area is the north and east area, and here are the northeast area, north and east, northeast of China. These areas are mostly the plain area. Most Chinese agriculture is right here, these areas. All right, and let's move a little bit downward. This area is the middle and the south of China. Most of these areas are mountainous areas. And you may have also noticed that this blue and purple area, this is the Tibetan Plateau, the plateau area. And the yellow and orange area is a desert and a Gobi area. So we have 4 different types of terrains in China: plain area, mountainous, plateau, and desert. On the map, we have different routes. Each route consists of different blocks. You may have noticed that we have different types of blocks. We have green, we have blue, we have transparent, we have small blocks, we have big blocks. Let's look at them one by one. First, let's look at these big blocks. Here, these 2 are big blocks. The big blocks means this is a city in this on this map. A city allows players to trade their item cards. These are item cards. Players can trade item cards. They can sell item cards or they can buy item cards with paper money in city blocks on the game board. And you may have also noticed that these two cities have different name colors. The city of Wuhan has a black name, while Shanghai has a red name. What does that mean? A black name means this is an ordinary city. The only thing you can do is to trade item card. However, a red name city means this is not only a place that you can trade your item cards, this is also a starting point city, which means a player can start this game in this city. There are totally five red name cities on this map. Besides Shanghai, we have other 4, which are in the south of China, Shenzhen. In the southwest of China, Lhasa. In the northwest of China, Urumqi. And the capital city of China, Beijing. So these 5 cities has red names, which means that they are starting cities of the game. All players can choose one of them as their start city in this game. When we are looking at these red name cities, you may have also noticed that some of these cities have a red cross like Lhasa, or Urumqi has a red city. However, other red cities like Beijing or Shanghai do not have a red cross beside their names. What does that red cross mean? A red cross means that this city contains a hospital. When you died or get killed in this game, you will be forcibly moved into a city with a red cross to recover your life. You're going to wait or stop for 5 turns until your life is recovered. Then you can replay the game. On this map, there are totally 4 cities with a hospital, except Lhasa and Urumqi. In the very northeast of China, there is a city called Harbin. And in the very southeast of China, a city called Taipei. So these 4 cities have a red cross, which means you can recover your life in these cities. These cities are the only city with a hospital in these areas. For example, Lhasa is the only city with a hospital in the plateau area. So when you die in the plateau area, you will be forcibly sent to Lhasa to recover your life. And remember, when you are recovering your life, you're gonna have to stop for 5 turns before you can rejoin the game. So just try not to die in this game. Alright, after knowing what the red name and the red cross mean, now let's take a look at other blocks. And you may also have noticed that there are some blocks with those numbers on the block. We have big blocks with numbers, and we also have small blocks with numbers. These blocks means this is a turning point. A turning point means that the numbers on the blocks are showing the directions you can go. For example, number 1 showing you are going to upside, which is the north direction, and then number 2 or 6 means you're going downside, which is the south side. So you have to roll the dice, and if you got a 3, it means that you can only take the right side. Yeah. Okay, so this is the turning point. Now, you may also have noticed there are some small colorful blocks. The blue event blocks means you're going to draw an event from the event card pile. The green item block means you're going to draw an item card from the item card block pile. And what happened on the transparent white space block? Well, nothing happens. If you move to these white space blocks, then you do nothing. Now let's take a look at how this game is actually played. Before we play the game, we're going to choose our game actors. Here we have 8 actors. They have 4 different careers and 8 different countries. In this demo, I'm going to choose 1 scientist and 1 tourist. The tourist is from Brazil. I'm going to take it here. The scientist is from United States. I'm going to take it here on my left side. A scientist has, let's look at the scientist's ability points. A scientist has here, oh, sorry, I'm going to move a little bit. A scientist has 9 points of health, as you can see on the map here. 9 points of health. And then he or she has 13 points of knowledge and 6 points of mobility. This is the abilities of a scientist. Let's look at what a tourist have. A tourist has 6 points of mobility. And then a tourist has 10 points of health. And then a tourist has also 10 points of knowledge. This is what a tourist has. All right, now let's start the game. The game works on each player's mobility points. For example, as we have mentioned before, a scientist has 6 points of mobility. So, this means the player can decide whatever steps that he or she wants to take in each turn, as long as the number of steps is within 6. That's how this game, that's how players move in this game. All right, before we start the game, the judge of the game, who organizes and supervises all players in playing this game, will assign some paper money to each player. As a scientist, the player will be assigned totally 600 of paper currency in this game. So we got a 600. This is the first one, 50, then 100, 150, 200, and 250 and 300. As a tourist, at the beginning of the game, a tourist player will be assigned 500 of paper currency. So let's take 10 paper currency. This is 2. All right, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more, 10. Yeah. So we put them. Let's put them together. So these are the initial money of each player. 500 for a tourist, and 300 for a scientist. All right. Now we can start the game. Let's suppose the players are going to start this game at the area of the south of China, which is mostly the mountainous area. And these two players want to start the game at in two different cities. The tourist wants to start her game in city of Shanghai, and the scientist from the United States wants to start the game in the city of Shenzhen. All right, now we're going to start the game. As I have mentioned earlier in this video, each player's moving depends on their mobility, and both tourist and the scientist has 6 points of mobility. This means that they move depends on their moving ability. They can take whatever steps as long as the number of steps is within 6. And probably you have noticed that we have some numbers on the city block. This means these numbers are direction numbers. This means a player has to roll a dice in this game before they move to decide which direction they are going to take. The scientist player got a 5 on his roll. Then, let's see, 5 means to take the right side. Then the US scientist is going to take the right side, and because he's moving points is 6, so he can decide to take a maximum of 6 points as he in his first move. So let's suppose that he decides to take 2 steps for his first move. Let's do this. All right, excuse me, 1, 2, yeah, all right. So, and when he has moved for 2 steps, and the scientist player moves to a green item block, this means that the scientist is going to take a item card. So the scientist is going to take an item card. When the player has taken an item card, he cannot get the item directly. He has to hand the item card to the judge of the player, and the judge of this game is going to read the information on the backside of the item card. So in this demo, I'm going to act as the judge, and I'm going to read the information on the backside. Okay, here. The information on the backside is item mountain. And this means this is a mountainous item. The item is called winter bamboo shoots. Okay, so bamboo shoots are kind of food, is a kind of vegetable food in China. Yeah, people usually cook it with meat, with like pork or meat food. With this item, there's a parenthesis. In this parenthesis, it shows HL plus 1. HL is the short writing for health point. So health point plus 1, which means when the US scientist got this item, he or she can get 1 health point increased on his ability board. So let's do this health point increase. The health point is right over here, so let's do it. Currently, the scientist's health point is number 9, which means he has 9 health points. Let's move 1 for him, so now he got a 10 health point. And let's look back to the item card. On the bottom left side of the item card, there's a number 200, which means this item worth 200 Chinese currency in this game. If you want to buy this item, you're gonna have to use 200 to buy it. If you sell this item card, you can get a 200 as well. Now it's the Brazil tourists' turn. Because Shanghai is also a city with block of numbers on it. So the tourist player is also going to roll the dice to determine which direction to go. So let's roll the dice. Okay, the dice is number 4. Number 4 means that the player is going to go downside, which is the which is the south side. So, and because the tourist player also has 6 points, 6 points of mobility, 6 points of mobility. That is the number that the tourist player has. So he can also decide a maximum number of 6 steps that he can take in his first round. And let's suppose that the tourist player decides to take 3 steps. Then he moves to 1, 2, 3 here. And he moves to an event block. So he can draw an event card. Let's do this. All right. So the tourist player has drawn an event card. On the backside of the event card, there will be information. It could be an event or it could be a challenge for the player. And the judge will take the event card, not the player. The player is not going to. The player should not to see the information on the backside of the event card. The judge can read the information for everyone, and if it's a challenge, then the tourist will be challenged. Now, I, as the judge, is going to turn the event card over and read the information on the backside. All right, so still event mountain. You traveled to Mountain Emei in Sichuan, China. On a mountain trail, you were attacked by wild monkeys. You were scratched and your food was robbed. Luckily, you took the vaccine in time. So this event told people that there is a mountain called Emei Mountain in Sichuan, China, and there will be wild monkeys attacking tourists, and people might be scratched and their food might be robbed. And as long as you took the vaccine in time, you'll be fine. And this is a kind of event card. It happens to the it happens on the tourist. This is something bad. So there is a parenthesis on this event card. Stop for 1 turn. So the tourist player is going to stop for 1 turn in the next turn, which means she cannot move in next turn. Okay, this is an event card. The event card will be used immediately, and once used, the event card will be placed to discarded card pile. Yeah, let's just put it there. Put it over there. Okay. Now let's move to the second turn. The U.S. scientist player is on the item card here, and he's going to decide how many steps he's going to take. Because he has 6 points of mobility, then he decided to take 6 here. So let's move for him. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here, the U.S. player, the U.S. scientist player has moved to a city. The city is Taipei, and in the city, the player can trade item cards here. Can trade some item cards. He can so currently he has 1 item card, which is the winter bamboo shoots, and he also has some money. So he can choose to sell his current owned card or to buy some new item card. Let's suppose that the U.S. scientists decide to buy 1 new item. Okay, let's draw this thing. Let's draw an item. And the judge is going to take the item card and to read it for everyone. The item card is called lychee. Lychee is a kind of fruit that is very common in China. It is sweet and it is kind of very small, sweet and juicy and very healthy fruit. With this item, the player can get 1 health point increase. However, to get this item, the player has to pay for here 100 currency in this game. So since the scientist player now he has 300 currency in the game, so he decides to buy this item. Now we put the item to the player, and then we get 100 from the player to the bank. Okay, and because with this item card, the player can increase 1 health point. So we're going to do this. The scientist player, get 1 more health point increase here. Okay, because in last turn, the Brazil tourist got an event that he was scratched and attacked by some wild monkeys. So he got 1 stop in this turn. So the Brazil tourist player is not going to move any in this turn. Okay, the third turn. In the third turn, the U.S. scientist player decided to move to move 3 steps. Which means he will probably get an event card. But before doing so, since the city is also a place with numbers on its blocks, so the U.S. scientist player also has to roll the dice to decide which direction he should go. Let's do it. It's 4 again. All right. So 4 is 1 4, 1 4 turning to the left side. So the U.S. scientist player is going to take the left way, and he said he wants to take step 3. So let's do that. 1, 2, and 3. So he got an event, and in this game, and he's going. If we have moved our actor to the event block, then we're going to take an event card. Okay, another event card. Okay, I'm going to read the card as the judge of this game. Event cities, which means this is a city event. You saw a homeless and a severely disabled person begging money in the city. You give him some money, then you see the guy, which means the homeless person, take out an iPhone X and order a lunch with an app. He takes begging money as a profession. Okay, so this is an event. This is a very common phenomenon in Chinese city. You probably will see some very poor and very poor homeless people. They're begging money in the city, but they are not really need the money. They just take begging for money as a kind of their job. They are professional beggars. These people, they don't want to work. They don't want to find a job, so they think begging money is some easy way to get money. So that's what they do. And a lot of people, if they do not know the fact, so they would think they are really homeless people and really have no way to find a job, so they will give them money. So these people who beg for money just use people's mercy on them to take money. So usually this is a kind of phenomenon in China. And if you give the money, probably you're gonna be cheated by him, and the result of this kind of things is that usually you may lose some money. Okay, so with this event, the U.S. scientist player is going to lose 100 in the game. However, meanwhile, he will got 1 knowledge point increase because he has know this new phenomenon. All right, so let's do this. Let's put it here. And first, the U.S. player is going to lose 100 going to lose 100 currency in the game, and then he got his knowledge point increased. Sorry. A scientist knowledge point was 13, so now he got a 1 knowledge point increase. Let's move it to 14. All right. Okay, now it's the Brazil tourist turn now. The Brazil tourist player can move in this turn. So now let's decide how many steps she wants to take in this turn. Suppose that she wants to take 4 steps in this turn. Yeah, now let's move the first step. Number 1. Yeah, so now he has come to the city of Taipei, and this is a turning point city, so she has to roll the dice. Okay, let's roll the dice to decide which directions she's going to take. Number one is going to take the left side. So Brazil tourist player is also going to take the left side to the west. Okay, so she has already taken 1 step, so she has 3 more steps to go. 2, 3, 4, which is also in the U.S. scientists blog. Let's move it there. All right, it's here. And the Brazil tourist player is also in on an event blog, so she's also to take an event. Okay, so suppose the tourist player has already taken the event and she has give the event card to the judge, and I'm the judge now, so I'm going to turn over the card is going to read this. Okay, so this is a challenge card. This event actually is a challenge. The challenge will be given to the tourist player. It's a question, which means the tourist player has to answer this question. If she got the right answer, she's going to get a 1 knowledge point increase. If she failed to answer the question, then she will got a 1 health point reduced, or instead she can use 100 currency in the game to prevent losing health point. Okay, the question is that are there tigers in the mountains in South China? Are there tigers in the mountains in South China? Because we are playing the game on the south area of China, so all these challenges or items and events will be about the south area of China. Are there tigers in the mountainous area in South China? And let's suppose that the tourist player said, I think yes, there are tigers in the mountain in South China. Okay, and now the judge is going to announce the right answer. The right answer is yes, there were tigers, but not today, because people haven't seen tigers for many years. So the tourist player got the wrong answer. She said yes, there are tigers, but the fact is there were tigers, but not now. So which means, okay, this means the Brazil tourist player has failed the game. So she's gonna going to choose either to lose 1 point of health or to lose 100 currency. And since in this game, health point is very important for each player, the tourist player, she doesn't want to lose any health point, so she chooses to lose money. That's why she took out 100 money and put it back to the bank. All right. So this is how this game is played in this short demo. I'm just show you how this game is played. This is a very simple things, and there will be more things, more blocks, events, and items for players to explore in the entire on the entire map. And I hope you have fun in play this game.